Hello one and all, Musto0063 here to finish up the Robot Master stages of Mega Man 5. Now if I recall, I'd make some clever joke about catching some surf or hanging 10 dude, but I'm not. So last up is Waveman. The first screen is full of chains, but with steam traps this time around, to add in a little extra danger. The steam traps incidentally only gush when you get sufficiently close, but will stop after a certain period of time. There are no killable enemies on the screen, so just wait for this opportunity to make your move. If your time it so that the steam is in your way when the chain isn't, don't unnecessarily just try to rush past. Simply back off and try again. Now there's a choice of two tubes to enter here. Either is fine, but the top one will lead you to a 1-up. Quite where I thought I needed it this time around is anyone's guess. A few floor rolling enemies to watch out for here, in combination with the steam traps, but everything's still pretty easy to deal with. And it should have been abundantly obvious by now, but obviously the steam doesn't just gush at random, it's bursting out of the cracks in the floor. And that brings us to a bubble puzzle, which we'll actually see again, albeit with added difficulty, in Mega Man 9. We're going to jump on the big bubble that's positioned one from the rightmost bubble shooter and ride it up to the second screen. Then you want to jump all the way to the left edge of the screen to land on another big bubble. Use the small bubbles to make it across, but these pop when you land on them, so don't dawdle. Ride the big bubble up to the third screen, and what with spikes over on the right, you can see why we needed to make our way to the left. When the second small bubble appears on screen, that's your opportunity to make it over to the platform. Now pretty much the rest of the screen is a jet ski segment, and it's a pain in the neck when trying to perfectly run the stage. There's all manner of jet ski joes, and boys, and jumping fish to avoid, and it is very easy to get caught out. The boys will always approach from the right hand side and are usually the least threatening of the three enemy types. Well, if you position yourself close to the left hand end of the side of the screen they will be, and I'm sure going on instinct that's what most people would do. The Joes will always approach from the left hand side, at least in part 1 of the jet ski section, and by flipping the previous explanation round, it's clear why these are more likely to take you by surprise. But before I talk about the jumping fish, we have a mini-boss, Octopa OA. You need to hit the fairly obvious weak point in its head when it surfaces, and avoid the rather large shot it fires your way. Best bet is to jump the shot each time, but if you miss-time things, you're almost certainly going to get hit. And how nice of me it was to demonstrate that fact. Now the second half of the jet ski segment is way more annoying than the first, mainly because there are no boy enemies. Called V by the way. No seriously, V. Whatever. The Joes can now approach from either side of the screen, and there are far more jumping fish. Naturally, the fish are far harder to hit, and although one shot is enough, they can be a real nuisance, especially when there's more than one at a time, or they double team with a Joe. Oh, and that letter E is a pain to get if you don't know exactly when it's going to appear on the screen. The reason? 2 fish immediately before it, and if you get hit by one of them, you'll get stung, won't be able to jump, and you'll miss your opportunity to collect it. And as with the one in Crystal stage, you'll have to die or restart the level in order to get another chance. Lastly, there's one rather sorry looking cannon enemy guarding the boss gate, and frankly I think Waveman could afford to beef up his security detail just a little bit. Speaking of, Waveman is yet another pretty easy Robot Master. He attacks in a cyclical pattern. Water wave, harpoon, jump. Water wave, harpoon, jump. Apparently if you're standing still when he summons a wave, it should never spring up from directly underneath you. But I'm a paranoid sort of fellow, so I like to jump vertically up just to be on the safe side, and if a wave is in close proximity, tap left or right appropriately. That does require knowing wave's timing quite well, but with a bit of practice it's not that difficult to master. As soon as the wave disappears, that's when he shoots a harpoon at you. Be prepared to jump it almost immediately if you're fairly close to him. Then wait for him to jump, you'll likely want to slide underneath him, and simply lather, rinse and repeat. I get Water Wave. It's a water wave, go figure, that travels across the ground and you have to be standing on the ground in order to use it. It's not bad as Mega Man 5 weapons go. I gotta say, as much as I love this game, I have to confess that this is one of the least impressive arsenal of weapons you actually acquire. So as for perfect runs, I think it was fairly obvious where the dangers in that stage lay. So just how bad was that jet ski section? Certainly annoying at times, but again, it could have been worse. Okay, no beating around the bush. All of my outtakes came on that blasted jet ski section. Meaning, no failures on the chain and steam screen. Which, provided you don't get greedy in terms of looking for an opening that just isn't there, is rather straightforward. Of course, don't forget the chain itself is harmless. And now you get to see the other tube in action. As said, either is fine, but if you want the extra life, take the top tube. And this screen, like the first, provided you pay attention to the steam and don't look for openings that just aren't there, should also be no problem. The bubble puzzle is also very easy to clear once you know where the bubbles form. Giant bubble, fourth one over. Traverse the giant bubble, far left. Fall off because you're a complete moron. Giant bubble, fourth one over. Picking up what's left of my pride along the way. Traverse the giant bubble, far left. Try not to fall off this time. Wait for second small bubble, traverse the platform on the right. And just about make it. And of course, unless you hit a spike, it doesn't matter how many times you fall off here anyway. Lucky for me, I guess. So, here we go. To be honest, I kind of lost track of exactly what hit me, other than 3 screw-ups on the mid-boss, but the rest just sorts of meshes together. If you want my advice, I'd recommend positioning yourself about a quarter or so of the way in from the left-hand edge of the screen. That gives you the most time to react to the boys, fish, and any Joes appearing from the right-hand edge of the screen. Of course, this will make the Joes appearing from the left-hand edge a bit more requiring of quick reactions, but for me, unless you know exactly what's coming and when, being positioned any more to the right is just asking for trouble, as your dodging reaction time will be cut significantly. And if you can get the timing when Octo here fires his second and third shots in particular, you'll be okay. As long as you're shooting at him the rest of the time, you should have ample time to react to all his other attacks. So, like I said before, although I remember the second half tripping me up more than the first, as for what ended my run, that I can't specifically remember. I'd have thought it would be more likely to be either when 2 fish or a fish and a Joe were coming at me simultaneously though. And other than the general positioning I mentioned, I can't really offer a great strategy here, other than not to spam shoot. Try to pick your moments. And don't think you have to kill all the enemies. If you see a way to just dodge them, and I'm probably talking more so about the fish here, then go with it. Trust your instincts is maybe all I can really say about this section. And okay, yeah, I was a paranoid coming up to this cannon. It was my first time getting this far, and what with being fairly confident about being Wave Man, I did not want to screw up there. Now I talked about the strategy for dealing with the Robot Master during the Let's Play version, so there's not a whole lot else to mention. It's a pretty easy fight. Don't get put off by a wave appearing between you and him. That scenario will stop you from attacking, as your pellet shots will bounce off the wave, but you'll get plenty of opportunity to pummel away at him. Like for instance when the water wave is behind you or him. And because his pattern is cyclical, he shouldn't ever do anything that catches you by surprise. So just be patient, and flawless victory should soon be yours. So, the 8th and final Robot Master goes down. You might be wondering why, given the fun I expected I would have with Charge Man, I left this stage for last. In hindsight, I shouldn't have, but I just didn't know how pesky that jet ski section was going to be. It actually only took 25 minutes to get the successful run, with only 9 outtakes in all, and as said, with every one of them on the jet ski section. Unless you memorise that part of the level, chances are you're going to get surprised somewhere along the way, and it's not an especially short segment. Mid-boss included, it takes around a minute and a half in total to progress from start to finish. Other than the recommendation to hang fairly close to the left-hand edge of the screen, but not too close, I don't think I can offer any other concrete advice. But at least the rest of the stage, Robot Master included, is straightforward in comparison. Waveman was the 6th Robot Master to cause me no problems whatsoever, leaving Chargeman, other than one mess up on Crystal, as the only one to offer any real resistance. 9 outtakes, all on one part of the level, granted at various points along a 90-second stretch, were a few more than would have been required to make me happy about the stage. But this ended up being substantially less frustrating than Perfect Running Charge's stage, so that's something, I guess. Overall, I rate Waveman's stage as a 3 out of 10. This felt about on a par with Napalm and Crystal in terms of difficulty, and it's really all down to just one part of the level. If I'm being honest, as a one-off, if I had one chance to perfect run a stage, I do feel that this is the one I'd be least likely to win on. Yes, I know Chargeman's annoying, but I fancy my chances more against him than clearing the jet ski section. On a one-off anyway, which somewhat again played into my thinking about leaving Waveman for last. So that is it in the way of Robot Masters. Next time I'll be tackling Protoman's Fortress. He couldn't really be behind all the chaos and destruction, could he? Tune in next time. Cheerio.